Hello family, welcome back to my channel. It's still your baby girl Gloria. Thank you for watching me today. Today we're going to be talking about everything you should expect in a care home. All this thing I'm telling you is still before 9 o'clock. I know it's looking very long, but it's just because I'm trying to explain very well. So after that, you the nurse on my floor, what I do or what we do is the nurse, we have a place we call servery. That servery is where the food from the kitchen comes to that servery on my floor, and I am the nurse who will be there to dish out all the food because I know who is gluten free, I know who is diabetic, who doesn't taste sugar, I know who is terminally ill, I know who is at end of life, I know who cannot have soft, I know who cannot have main meal, who the food has to be blended or pureed. So I know all these things coming from a nurse. The carers also know, but you the nurse, you're the one who will be responsible if a carer who is inexperienced go to somebody who is high risk of choking and give the person regular food. You're going to be responsible. Or someone who is gluten free, somebody who is lactose intolerant, if they go and give them the food that is not appropriate for them, you're going to be the one responsible. So what I do is I take a paper, I write all my residents' number on the paper, and I arrange the food. I know room 1, if room 1 is having 2 sugar, 2 milk, this blah blah blah, 2 sugar, milk, coffee, toast, I arrange it, seal it, well organized in a tray with cutlery, looking beautiful, and I give it to the carer. The carer will take it to the rooms. After we've done that, some will come to the dining to have their breakfast. They'll have their breakfast there. After we've given those who are in the rooms, there are people who cannot help themselves to eat, who needs, if you have peg feeding, that is when you know who you're going to delegate peg feeding to. I remember, you don't delegate a duty that someone is not capable of doing to them. So you know who is capable of doing this, who is capable of doing that, who needs assistance. Those who need assistance, then you now delegate the carers also. They will go there and they will give them their food. They will feed them. If you have enough carer there, that's fine. If you don't have enough carer, sometimes you will need to help. It is really different. Like my former care homes is really different. Sometimes it's even the carer that will give you the food. You will be the one that will go and feed them. You are going to be the one that is doing the yes sir. But in the homes where things are organized, you're going to be the one in charge. They will answer to you. So they will go and feed. If you don't have any other person to feed, you know everybody has eaten, and then they know who is sleeping, who has not had their breakfast. So when they wake up, they are going to feed them, or they are going to give them their breakfast. And when they wake up, they will usually come to me and say, Gloria, so person is awake now, we are going to get her ready, and then we'll give her the breakfast. All organized. So towards 9:09, depending on when you quickly finish, then you start your medication run. Medication, you need to follow all the rules. See, if there's anything you're going to protect in your life as a nurse in the UK, the most is your medication. Don't be tempted. You can be tempted to like do shortcuts, do this, but if you commit medication error and you fall into trouble, no coming back. You may lose your pain. So that is the time you want to protect yourself. Usually some homes we have, usually you should wear this clothes, this red cloth we usually wear to say medication going on, do not disturb, because you don't want to be disturbed, you don't want to be distracted. It's not when you want to start using your phone. It's not when you want to give somebody's medication to another person. It's not when you want to do medication error, because everything you do in the UK, you're going to be accountable for it. Then we use our mark sheet. The person you've given, you administer, they've swallowed, you come and sign. If it's the one you're going to count how many tablets is remaining, you write how many tablets is remaining. You're doing your medication round with your trolley. You're checking if person's asleep, you know the code, you're going to put the code, go to the back, write asleep, make sure you've done all your documentation, don't forget. And even if you've forgotten to sign, at the end of your shift, please, it's important, go back and check all those places, check all your medication to see that you have signed, because if anything should happen to in the future, if anything happens, you're going to be in trouble, you may lose your pin. Medication is extremely important here. Extremely important. Make sure you protect your medication, protect your pin. So we're going to do medication run, usually an hour or 2 or an hour and a half. It's not like you're not going to do another thing between medication. In between medication, you can still get distracted. You can still do one till, if somebody has fallen, for instance, you know, older residents have the tendency of falling. Somebody has fallen, you're not going to say, no, I'm doing medication, I cannot move. You have to lock your cupboard, do examination if they are going to the hospital, you know. So there's a lot of things going on in between that I may not be able to mention. So you're going to do your medication run by, let's say, 10, 11, you're finished. By 11, normally in my home, we have flash. Flash is where all the nurses again will come together with the manager and now discuss again. So The manager will now come. Flash normally shouldn't be that long, like 15 minutes, but sometimes it takes ages. You now discuss things that the manager is not aware, because the manager was not there when you were doing handover in the morning. Those who were not well, if you've lost any resident, the information she's got for you, things she has complained to complain, anything she's been told from the head office, any upcoming event, new resident is coming, you guys will talk about it again in the flash. And if she has any complaint or something that she has seen that is not good, that you have to go and tell your carer, everything will be discussed in flash. So once flash is over, you can go for your break. Usually we are entitled to an hour break depending on how many hours you're working. If you're working 12 hours, you are entitled to an hour unpaid break. Some home will pay you, some home will not pay you. So 30 minutes each time. You go for your break if you want to. You have a lot of things to do. You have your documentation, you have resident of the day to do. You know, I told you you're going to update all the care plan. You have your daily notes to do. So you have some time to catch up with things you want to do. You know, you have residents who are on dressing, colostomy, all those special things that you have to do in between. Then after that, by 1 o'clock is lunch time for us in my home now. By 1 o'clock is lunch time. You repeat the process again. You're going to do all your hand washing. Your carers will do all their hand washing. You're going to dress in the kitchen, wear the apron, you're going to wear your gloves, and you, the nurse, you're going to start all the process all over again. At that time, they will have known what the resident wants. A carer usually will go around with the list or with the menu to ask, what do you want to eat? We've got this on the menu today, what do you want to have? So they will choose what they want to have, and some don't have the capacity to express what they want. But you, knowing your resident, you already know them and you know what will be suitable for them. All are also all nutritious. So you, the nurse, you're going to dish out. They usually have in the afternoon maybe soup, main, pudding. Then you're going to give out everything according to well plated, well organized. You're going to send them out. After that, they will go again and feed those who cannot help themselves to feed. If you're lucky, you have enough carer to do all the feeding. If not, you also will have to go and feed. After feeding, after lunchtime, usually lasts an hour normally, plus or minus. Me, I'm usually in the dining to also keep an eye on all the residents, because sometimes you have someone who is going to be choking, you have somebody who is going to fall. You're making sure you're putting eye on everything, what they are giving the resident. Are they giving them the right meal, the right consistency, the right portion? You're putting eye on everything. So when that is done, like about 2 o'clock, we're done with lunch, you will now start your medication, afternoon medication round again. That will can take ages. And remember, sometimes you're not able to give everybody their medication at the same time. That's the time you have to go back. And if it's too close to the last one, remember to decode it. You're going to code it, and you just know what to do once you're in the. Don't worry, don't get overwhelmed. It's story time. Don't bother. Don't worry, you'll be fine. So after you've served your medication in the afternoon, sometimes maybe have to, you can have 30 minutes break, your second break if you want, or usually I don't take it, or you should take your break, but sometimes you just cannot take your break because you know you've not caught up with your work. And if you decide to go for a break, it's okay, or you can go for your break, but you will not finish where you're supposed to finish, and you will not go home on time. So sometimes I usually sacrifice some of my break time to do my paperwork or to do dressing, to do one thing or the other. After my medication round, then you want to check who is for dressing, those bits and pieces you've not done. At that point, you want to make sure you've done your daily notes, because every resident has daily notes in their file where you have to write what happened in the day. Especially if there's anything significant that has happened. This also person woke up also time, had an active day, was sleepy, had headache, was sick, had vomiting, blah blah blah, was constipated. You know you're going to give the medication. You're going to do all that on each resident's notes. Make sure you've checked your diary, you've updated everything. And sometimes you have incidents happen, like somebody will fall, then you need to be careful. You need to examine them, do your observations, phone the family, do your documentation, inform the manager, do date text or whatever it's called in your home, that's reporting system. If somebody is unwell, you need to phone the ambulance, arrange transfer, inform family most of the time. Then you have visits in between when the family is calling, they want to come and visit, blah blah blah. It's a lot of things to do. But when you get a hand on it, it's just, it becomes a lifestyle, it's still your job. Depending on what you've got to do during the day, then 5 o'clock again, dinner time. You do all the meal thing again, you serve their food, assist who you want to assist. By 6, you start your evening medication. When you finish your medication, you're making sure you've rounded up all your documentation. You're still going back to do the bit and pieces and things you have to do for the day, things you've not caught up with, and then you want to plan yourself for the next day if you're coming back. And if you're not coming back, you want to make sure your handover document is really up to date, so the next note that is coming will know what to do. And if you're the charge, you know you still have extra things to do, you still have allocation to do, you still have rota to check, you have shifts to cover, you have people who will be calling sick because they want to go to the pub. You have people who will be calling sick because their grandmother had diarrhea yesterday. You have people who will be calling sick because their daughter is emotionally something. So there's always one thing going on or the other. There's one tip I'm going to give you as a nurse in any care home is try to do, if you have time, don't go and sit down and be gossiping or don't go and sit down and be talking unnecessarily. Use that your time well, because anything can go wrong at any time. There are times when something will just go wrong by maybe 7:30 and somebody will decide to fall. You know how long it will take you to finish your documentation and do all the vital signs, do all the reporting. That means your time is finished if you've not caught up with your work. So anytime you have, make good use of it. It's better to have extra time towards the end of your shift than not finishing and staying at work until 10, 11 o'clock, where sometimes you cannot even claim the money because nobody asks you to be there and be doing documentation you're supposed to do during the shift. So you have to try to do as much as you can when you can, and don't stress yourself. Like I said, sometimes I don't take my break, but it's for my own good. But please try to rest, take your own break. And the carers also, they have their own routine, they have their own things, they do their own thing. Most of the time, they do all the pad changes, all the repositioning. You're making, you as a nurse also, you're making sure this has been done. You're checking that the documentation has been done. They've signed all the things they should sign. Who is having a shower? Who is going to have bed bath? Who is going to the hairdresser within the home? What activity is going to be going on? Who needs to be repositioned? They will be reporting things to you, pressure sore, if they've seen someone who has got bruises, someone who is they think is unwell because they see them more than you, they're reporting everything to you, and you're going also to go and check all these things, you're documenting, you're following up all these things. They will be reporting. In fact, something as small as somebody's soap is finished, they can come and tell you, and this person's soap is finished. You're the one that will know how to arrange. They're going to be reporting everything to you, but that is a good sign. But if you're in a home where they will make you do it, I've been in a home where I'm the one who changed the pads. I've been in a home where I'm the one who does all those things. But where I am just now, you can help. Sometimes they're so short, you help. You can help like somebody who is critically ill. You can decide to be the one to do it, to do their personal care, to move them, to mobilize them. But most time, if you have good hands, you have enough hands, you don't need to do all those things. You're basically facing your nursing duties. But it is okay. It is good also to act and help, and don't be the bully nurse. You don't want to be a bully nurse. At the end of the day, we are still human beings. Even if you have a carer, even if you have carers, you are still colleagues. And while you're working, like I said, don't make enemy for yourself. Don't involve yourself in petty talks, petty gossip, because gossip is like the normal thing. Don't make yourself vulnerable to people coming to gossip to you, because you're going to lose your integrity, you're going to lose your value, you're going to lose your nursing professionalism. At the end of the day, you're going to lose your respect. And don't be too strict. Don't be too strict. Learn to be like a manager. Being a nurse in a care home, you're actually almost the one who is going to be in charge of a lot of administrative things. You need to use wisdom, you need to use understanding, you need to use maturity. Don't be childish and don't allow anybody to disrespect or bully you. If anything is too much for you, don't frustrate yourself, don't kill yourself. Report to your manager. And if you think your responsibility is too much, you don't understand it, ask for help. It's better to ask than be sorry to commit error. Don't be embarrassed. See, there are some carers that I know, they know more than me, not medically speaking, but experience. They've known this. In fact, some carers have been in that care home for 20 years. So what do you want to say? You that you're just coming for 3 months. What do you want to know about that resident that I don't know? So you have to pipe down, learn by understanding, learn by example, learn by asking intelligently. You're not going to say, I don't know how to do this. So you're going to like use style, you know. Let learning be part of you, and listen to people. Let them advise you. Let them give you advice, be the one who listen and don't just be the one who just gives the rules. You have to be careful. Wisdom is really needed when you're in a care home, because it is a small place usually, and a lot of, we know everybody, we know ourselves, so there's tendency to easily fall out, to easily have misunderstanding, and just learn to talk through things. And one thing I always tell everybody, even my carers, it's just 12 hours. It's just 12 hours, maximum 13-14 hours. You'll be going home. You go home, do your work, do it to the best of your understanding, do it to the best of your power, do it to the best of your knowledge, and forget about it. Don't allow anything to frustrate you. See, you're clocking in and you're clocking out. That is the time that is paid. The moment you clock out, I used to tell people, the moment I clock out, every stress that has to do with work is gone. Let it just go. Don't carry your burden from work. Don't carry it home. And don't be the type of person or type of nurse that will be thinking about tomorrow's problem already, and then you'll not live a frustrated life. No, once I clock off, the only thing in my brain is how I will go home, have a shower, and demolish my dinner. Have time with my family, either record video, edit video, watch movie. Those are the things. I don't think of what happened at work. If I want to gist, I can gist, but I don't like it bother me. If not, you're going to die of frustration, because there's no place, there's nowhere where there's no misunderstanding. Even where you're working just now, even where you're working now, there are times when you have misunderstanding with your colleague, with your boss, with your superior, with people who are under you or who you're in charge of. So it is normal everywhere. At the end of the day, it is still nursing. At the end of the day, it is still job. Remember, your job can replace you, but your family cannot. What is your priority? And if you're not happy, if it's taking away your joy, leave the job. I'm not saying you should quit, but get where they reach. If there's a place, there's a way it gets that there's no going back. I've been talking for ages. Did I say by 6 o'clock you give your evening medication? Yes, I said it. When nurses are going for break, we usually inform the nurse in charge, because you don't want like 2 nurses. If there are 3 nurses on duty, you don't want 2 nurses going on break the same time and emergency happens, then to be left with 1 nurse. And usually why we tell ourselves we are going for break is so that the nurse will know that you're not on your floor in case emergency buzzer goes off, in case alarm goes off, in case something happens. They know they're accountable for you, whereas the carer will also report to you when they're going for their break. They also have access to 15 minutes break, which is 5 minutes for people who smoke, small break, just wee break, just little break in between. They have to let you know. You also have to let your other nurses or your nurse in charge know that you're going for your breaks, not because they're controlling you, but because they need to know where you are at a particular time. And once you've done that, you've done your medication, you've done all those things you think you need to do, towards 8 o'clock or before 8, 9 staff usually come like trying. They will come, then you do your control drug again. Remember I told you you will count your control drug again, you will sign, and then you will sit again and hand over, and the process will just continue and continue and continue. I hope this has answered all your questions regarding working in a care home. If there's anything I've not remembered to say, you can kindly ask in the comment section down below, and remember to subscribe before you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't be afraid to be a care home nurse. I'm a proud nurse, a registered nurse working in a care home. Yes, I'm happy and I love doing it. In future, I can try to go to NHS. I'm a renal nurse, I'm a dialysis nurse. Of course, I want to go back to dialysis, but for now, we die here. I hope you enjoy your day. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely work time in wherever you're working. I wish you good luck, and please stay safe, stay healthy. Like I said, your job can replace you, but your family cannot. At the end of the day, it's still work. I love you. Stay strong. Pursue that your dream, and one day you'll testify. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye. Bye. And that's my face when I've closed. Can you see the difference? I've walked. You'll be shocked that it's already past 8 p.m. in the night. And the weather is still like this because summer is coming. When it's summer, it's usually daylight until like 11 o'clock in the night. It's still very bright. Can you see? You think it's day. I'm recording with my phone, so I've not got any form of lighting whatsoever, and it's still this bright because summer is coming. It's spring, but in winter by 4 p.m. it's already dark. Then in summer, even 8, 9, 10 is still bright. It's as bright as daytime, and I've closed from work. That's me. It's not so cold, but look at all this.